I keep hearing my mouth and I'm like aware of it.
Hello, everybody. It's your boy Nerdy.
And I'm Clint.
And this is Genesis Armorum, the show where we find new and interesting ways of creating TTRPG characters. Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm having a great time already.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, to start things off, I wore the shirt from the show that I learned how to draw growing up.
That's cool.
Which means, Nerdy, did you bring your Renaissance painter character?
So here's the thing. I know we were supposed to do famous Renaissance painters. However, I spent the time watching the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. But, okay, hear me out. They have Renaissance painter names. And they paint with the power of pizza, brotherhood, and ninjutsu. The best colors of all, I think.
You know, why am I not surprised?
You've been friends with me for a while now. This makes sense.
You know what? This is probably for the best.
Okay.
I don't know if many people would have wanted to hear me rant about Da Vinci's color theory or how artists aren't appreciated until they're dead or, you know, any of that.
I like the money pit. That's what I would like to say to that.
Well, let's get started then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can do movies. Okay, let's do movies for the plan for today.
Okay.
All right, different movies, but here's the thing. Let's do movies that we haven't already seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I got a suggestion for you.
Okay, hit me.
Because you love fighting.
I do.
You love cool action sequences.
I love them.
You love comedy.
I love all three of those things.
I would love for you to watch John Carpenter's 1986 film, Big Trouble in Little China.
Ooh, I've been meaning to watch that. I know it's been on my list of like the 100 movies you gotta see. Because you like misunderstood artists who are unappreciated and who are battling with crippling depression and who are inventors. I think that you should watch the 2018 film by Lee Whannell called Upgrade.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know you haven't seen that movie. Now, real quick, before we get into these, for everybody at home, watching wherever you're watching, there's going to be some, spoilers for both of these movies. So if you haven't watched either Upgrade or Big Trouble in Little China, wait. Pause this video right now.
Go watch them. And
then come back and watch all of this. Also, a little bit of trigger warning because there is some body horror in both of these movies. Yeah. But other than that, let's head to the future. Press fast forward. Things past us. Thank you so much. You guys look great, by the way. I thought you looked really cool. Do you think they look cool?
I love your cardigan.
Ooh, see, look at that. We love that. Now, did you like the movie? Did you watched Upgrade?
I did.
It was the first time you watched it.
It was so good.
It's a lot.
And
the scene where with the fight and it does the thing, it's a lot. I don't know when you're ready.
It's so good. I'm not an action movie girly myself, but I would rewatch that one.
Yeah, it's fun. I bought it on Blu-ray, so I know I like that one. And Big Trouble Little China.
So funny.
It's so fun. Oh my god. I never drive faster than I can see. The quotes alone. I have been sleeping on Big Trouble in Little China for like a long time. It's been on my list of movies to watch, like I said before. But after watching it, I was like, if you haven't, you really need to take the time. It's so fun. It's so kitsch. It's very much of its time, but in a good way, in a fun way.
As a John Carpenter film, there's going to be at least one weird monster in it.
Weird monster stuff. It's enjoyable. Please, if you haven't, you gotta go watch it.
You gotta go check it out.
But
you want to go first? I went first last week.
Yeah, I'll talk about my character that I made in response to Big Trouble in Little China, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay?
That sounds
great.
All right,
so here we go.
Big Trouble in Little China, also known as John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China, is a 1986 American fantasy action comedy film, co-scored and directed by John Carpenter, and starring Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, and James Hong. The film tells the story of a truck driver, Jack Burton, who helps his friend Wang Chi rescue Wang's green-eyed fiancée.
Which is an important part of the movie.
It's such an important part of the
film. The green eye is a big important part of the movie.
From the bandits in San Francisco's Chinatown. They go into the mysterious underworld beneath Chinatown, where they face an ancient sorcerer named David Lopan, who requires a woman with green eyes to marry him in order to be released from a centuries-old curse.
That's a little gross.
It is a little gross.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't want to marry ghosts. I mean, you could.
I mean,
you
to
could.
each their own.
Ghosts I would marry in a row.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze.
Only after a pottery lesson.
Yeah. Patrick Swayze, pottery lesson. Ghost in Shell, not Scarlett Johansson. Like an Asian woman, but probably somewhere different. Or other ghosts. Ghost Note from Sidekicked coming to you on Nerdy TV.
Now, I know what you're thinking. There is only one person in this film that is big enough, manly enough, and straight shooting enough to be the template of my character, and you'd be right, because that person is none other than Egg Shen.
I definitely thought you would do Jack Burton just from
Absolutely
the quotes,
not.
but I
How
completely
could you
understand.
capture Jack Burton in a character? You can't.
You can't.
You really cut. That is. It's its own.
They got it in one take.
They got it
you
in
know?
one take. You can't.
We don't
But
need
Egg
more.
Shen, the tour driver, the tour bus driver from the beginning of the movie, is. I said it immediately when we watched it.
Yeah.
We sat down to watch it, and I said, "That's the guy." I don't know what else is happening in the movie, but that's the guy.
We were in the first scene where this bus driver is being interviewed
Yep.
or being interrogated about something.
And I was like, "Yep, he's the dude. He's the one."
Nerdy just goes, "That's what it's going to be about."
I know it. I already knew it, and I was right the whole time.
Now, in BTILC, Egg Shen, played by actor, artist, and journalist Victor Wong, provides tourists of San Francisco a unique experience through the streets of Chinatown. Unbeknownst to the camera flashing out-of-towners, Egg Shen is also a powerful wizard and martial artist who has been secretly engaged in a war with the evil Lopan for who knows how long. Throughout the film, he is shown being incredibly knowledgeable of the history of this ancient evil, as well as providing the heroes of the story with various items to help battle, and of course, shuttling them to and from danger in his trusty tour bus. Which is why the character I made using Egg as a template is simply named Mr. Bus. Mr. Bus is an old human, his adventuring days long behind him, who has taken up showing citizens around great battle sites and interesting cultural areas. For the build, I went with a mostly wizard build, choosing the School of Conjuration, mostly so I could cast the spell Magnificent Mansion, which I would argue that any cool DM would let you turn into a bus.
You can make a little caveats here and there, but it's a 4th level spell. Find Greater Steed is a 4th level spell. A rhinoceros, a bus. You can argue for that. If your DM is cool, they'll let you do it.
The rest of the spells, you can choose whatever you'd like, as long as you take Shocking Grasp for a little bit of lightning hands that we see from Egg at the beginning of the movie. After that, I made sure to give him the proficiency in land vehicles and history to make him an excellent tour guide for the many would-be tourists that sign up to see the many wonders that Mr. Bus has to show. Lastly, I put the remaining levels for him in Artificer, specifically the Alchemist subclass. This is how Mr. Bus creates all of the little drinks, snacks, and various magical mini-bar accessories that gives a boost to any would-be trucker hero who might find themselves on their bus.
Hey, what more can a guy ask for?
I like the idea of the back alley cellar that has like a trench coat.
Yeah.
And it's just all of his potions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I use for the background, if you're going to use the traditional backgrounds provided you in Dungeons & Dragons, I use the failed merchant background. It doesn't necessarily have to be failed as in like he's like not doing well, but the object of like that he sells tour guides. That's what he does. He's a tour guide. He sells stuff. He's a member of the community, and that's it. I like that a lot, and I like that energy. So as long as you get the land vehicle proficiency, the history proficiency, Shocking Grasp, and however you can find a way to get it, and then a way to summon a bus. And then there you go. You got yourself Mr. Bus straight off the presses, straight off the highway, high-speed, underground, sewer-traveling, ninja-fighting, monster-crushing movie that is Big Trouble in Little China.
That is incredible.
It was fantastic. I love that movie. I've actually watched it 2 more times since. I didn't even have to watch it.
So much.
I just like it. It's
know
a
that.
good movie. I just like it. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
It's so good.
Yeah, no,
It's cozy. It's silly.
it's silly. It's exactly the type of camp that you need, and like it's rare. I think I think with TTRPGs in general,
Yeah.
sometimes people get the tendency to make their characters too serious. Like, they take themselves too seriously.
Yep.
And I think that Jack Burton is a great example of like a character who is fun, who is interesting, but is flawed, is not always winning all the time, and is just there for grit and the one-liner and the push. It's fantastic. You don't see a lot of characters written as confidently as Jack Burton is. And Egg Shed is really fun because he's just like every other scene you learn something wild about him. At first he's just a guy, and then he's a bus driver, and then he's a wizard, and then he's like a weird martial arts wizard, and it just keeps stacking every other. And he's running a ninja like counterinsurgency group. He's so interesting. So anyway, great movie. Watch it. Mr. Bus coming to you, and look at the artwork. All right, Clint, hit us.
The movie pick for me to watch is the 2018 action thriller Upgrade starring Logan Marshall Green and Betty Gabriel. Green plays a mechanic by the name of Gray Trace, who is paralyzed from the neck down in an incident that also results in his wife's murder.
Whoopsie. A few months...
Whoops. They should have put that in the movie.
Just a sad trombone
Yeah.
sound. It would add a little humor to
It
a
would.
pretty
It's
dark,
fun, but yeah, wow.
pretty dark
Why aren't
movie.
you guys thinking about that when you're making your dark action adventure movies?
Did you almost say comedy?
did. Yeah, I didn't laugh at all.
That
They
one.
mess it up. Anyway.
A few months later, he is given a second chance at mobility with an experimental surgery where his body is fused to a microchip that goes by the name of STEM. However, STEM is more intelligent than the original creator leads on and begins talking to Gray and giving him strength and skills he didn't have before. Now, I'm not going to fully spoil the ending, but the movie focuses on the struggle between Gray and this microchip as they work together to avenge his wife's murder. Now, I know that the rules were pretty flexible when it came to who/what we could use for inspiration when creating our PCs, but after watching this through, I couldn't help but want to make one similar to our main characters, Gray and STEM.
Yeah.
It's
so dope.
It's such an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
And it lends to a very clear... I want to say will they, won't they. That's not the word.
No, but I mean, like, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, kind of. Their relationship. The movie is about relationship, and the relationship between Gray and STEM is a focal point of the film.
That's very true.
You know what
That's
I
very
mean?
true.
It's not a romantic comedy, but it definitely could be built that way.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
The right score behind would be a completely
Put some
different...
careless whisper in front of those scenes. You got.
And we're going to stop there for copyright.
So I present to you Lyeth and Macht. The name Lyeth in Irish means the color gray, and Macht is German for the word might, power, force. Lyeth is a hill dwarf with clan crafter origins. They grew up in a dwarven colony working in a lab under a master artificer by the name of Armorum. One evening while outside the city after running a delivery to a powerful wizard, Lyeth and Armorum were ambushed and Lyeth fell dead. Armorum rushed Lyeth back to the wizard's tower and begged the wizard to bring Lyeth back. The wizard warned Armorum that resurrection magic is fickle, and there are risks involved with any resurrection. Armorum said any risk is worth it to have Lyeth back. After what felt like hours of casting and struggle, Lyeth breathed air back into their lungs. However, their soul did not return alone. Upon waking up, Lyeth discovers that they are struggling to control their body, and it seems to be making some movements on its own. This other spirit begins talking to Lyeth and calls itself Macht. Macht claims to be a long-dead monk whose soul has been wandering for millennia until now. He does not know why he has been brought back with Lyeth, or so he says, and asks Lyeth to help him complete his unfinished business on the material plane. Having few options at this point in time, Lyeth agrees and the two souls adventure out to begin checking things off Macht's list. Over their adventures, it becomes clearer and clearer that every time Lyeth relies on Macht for strength and skills, Lyeth begins losing more and more control over their own body. Now, what that looks like story-wise depends on a lot of rules and adventures, but what I imagine they look like at the end of the story is a level 20 Astral Monk. I initially wanted to do something along the lines of a Warlock or possibly a Wild Magic Barbarian. Neither of them lent the flavor of combat style I was looking for. Instead of the typical Astral Monk where the monk is projecting themselves out of their body, I twisted it to be the second soul that is extending itself into Lyath's body to lend skills and knowledge that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
I think some great things that tie these two together and make that a great relationship. The idea of purity of body, being able to expel things out of your body that you weren't able to prior. Tongue of the sun and moon, being able to understand other people talking to
Like
you.
a translator.
Exactly.
Like a microchip.
Like Google Translate.
Exactly. That's great.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah. This idea of a timeless body, something that can restore itself or run longer than initially planned. I think there's a lot that lines up with the idea of someone getting fused to a microchip.
Yeah.
Would.
Especially in a fantasy world like Dungeons and Dragons, you can really have a lot of fun with that. And yeah, like a 20 level monk is insane.
Yeah.
Just like out on its own.
Yeah.
But with the ability of like, oh, it's like a little bit of a, it's a flavor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a flavor, which is one of the fun ways of making characters.
Yeah.
Just tweaking it a little bit. It doesn't have to be like a Shaolin Temple sort of situation, which is one of the, that's the best things about this kind of stuff.
100%. And I love being able to take a storyline that I feel like has been told a lot of times of someone doing work for someone else. Their intentions aren't the purest, they find out later, and there's a struggle. Being able to reflavor that in a way that makes it almost more dire when things don't go either way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I honestly, when this build sounds really fun, I think I'm going to try to make a character. I'll bring something like this to a campaign because you could have a lot of fun with this.
100%. And I think it lends a lot to the DM as well, being able to tell a story with Mock kind of having weird and strange and unknown origins. Being able to play in that space with your character or with your PC if they bring this character to you, or being able to have that relationship with your DM to create a story together. Yeah.
I think that's super dope.
Yeah. Oh, here's the art for Lyath and Mocked. Also, shout out to our artist for this, Hama Samakun. They stream on Twitch.
Yep.
They are on Instagram.
All over the place.
All over the place.
Yes.
Give them a follow.
Give them a follow. Give them 8 follows.
Tune into a stream. Tell them that we say hi.
Yes.
And that we love their work. And
we love their work. So, one of the things that's really interesting about this episode is we got these artworks from Hama in black and white. And with their permission, we have decided to find a cool way to color in ourselves to kind of bring our visions of these characters to life.
Yeah, we're trying to find ways to make art on the budget. And completely understandable if the artist that you're working with doesn't want that. Try to find an artist that might, if this is something that you're looking to do. It's a way to create art that's personal on a budget.
And even if you're not planning on broadcasting all these things to the world, getting more connected to your character is always a cool thing to do. And one of the ways to do that is find a way that you can visually see them, or find a way that you can have a hand in crafting them in some way. And this is an example of a way you could do that, especially if you're cool with a local artist, which is why it's always fun to get to know your artists.
Yes.
You know, like, there's so many cool people in our community that does artwork. So find them. Hama's great. You're going to love this stuff.
Yeah, so here's some clips of us coloring and our finished artwork.
Halloween.
And Nerdy, I love you. You did a great job. I'm so proud of you.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go watch Big Trouble in Little China again.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Genesis Armorum. We'll be back, I believe. We're going to try
Right now.
Right now.
We're back right now.
It's going to be
instantaneous.
Do we want to tease next week's episode?
Yes. Ha ha ha. Next week's episode. You're not until next week.
Incredible. Well, I'll just say, you make me feel.
Oh.
That'll be the
You've
teaser.
got a friend in me.
In you?
Maybe.
Do you have an astro monk inside of you?
No.
Do we need to go to the doctor? Or do we need to go see... Thank you.
Bye.
You know what makes a real movie star? You. you're a real movie star for watching this whole video. We're going to put you on the Walk of Fame. We thank you so much. But you know what is even cooler? You know how you're going to become a mega movie star? By giving this video a like and then share it with your friends. And finally, if you want the Oscar of YouTube like activities, subscribe and tell YouTube that you want to see more of Genesis Armorum wherever you're at. We'll see you on the next red carpet. Check you out later.